Hello, welcome back to my channel. I haven't done a video since the end of June, so I am so sorry it's been like a month since I've posted. I am really struggling to find the time to actually film now that I have a toddler who is running riot. Literally walking and practically just running everywhere. It's really hard. Like, I have to have my eyes on her 24/7 now. I am a first-time mum. I am a working mum, although part-time now. I have got work, I've got a nursery, drop off and pick up to do, and then on the days that I'm home with Freya, even though I could film, yeah, I can't film. Like, I can't. I do want to say sorry that I just haven't been posting regularly anymore, because I always used to do at least one video a week, and in the last couple of months, I guess, it's just kind of changed massively to probably like one video a month. But I had a whole list of videos planned, like so many, and I just think most of them I'm not even going to do. In this video, I wanted to give you an update on my job, because I'm considering taking a career break. I wanted to talk about Freya, because we might be changing her nursery. And also, I wanted to talk about baby number 2, the plans for that. I feel like I need to give a little bit of an update as to what's been going on for the last month. Other than, you can probably tell, my hair is cut and dyed. Finally, the roots were horrendous. My hair was so long. I hate having long hair. And although I do miss being able to just shove it up into a claw clip, because now I can't really do that. So maybe this was too short. I do this all the time. I'll dye my hair blonde, then think, oh, maybe I should have just had brown hair. Then I'll dye my hair brown next time and think that I should have just been blonde. I can never decide between the two. I feel like I should just have both, to be honest. Maybe one side blonde and one side brown. And then also, when it comes to my hair, I like it long, but only to put it up. Like, that's all I ever want to do with it. And if I have it up in a claw clip, I usually just curl the front pieces. That is like my go-to every day. I'm not even joking. But I like that it's short, because then I don't even really have to do anything with it. But now I actually can't get it up into a claw clip, so I can never make decisions. But I have written a list of things that I wanted to just catch you up on. So in terms of Freya's walking, we all know that Freya walks now. She's been doing that since she was 1. She is 1 year and 2 months old, just in case anybody was thinking you haven't been here for so long and don't remember. Freya is 1 year and 2 months old. She says ta only when she wants to, but she can say it. She now says banana, so her first proper word was banana. We always make a point of pronouncing it properly. The way that Freya pronounces it, though, is nana. Or sometimes she'll go na, which I think is her trying to say banana. And she loves looking at spiders. I don't like spiders. James doesn't like spiders. But if you say, oh, a spider, she will instantly look up at the ceiling. She'll point. And if you actually point one out to her, she has a massive smile on her face. Freya likes the hoover, but she doesn't like it when I hoover up the spiders. That she cries about. She is not happy when I do that. She also does this thing now where if you tell her to point, she'll point at you, and then you have to get your finger and go boop. And that's her thing. So you'll be like, Freya, point, and she'll point, and then you go boop. It's a thing. The things that we've been up to over the last month, Freya now finally enjoys her magnetic drawing board that she got for her birthday. At first she wasn't really that fussed, but now she will actually draw on it, and she has a massive smile. She absolutely loves it. I got her a learning tower, so she will stand up when I am making her breakfast in the morning, and she watches me. When I say chop chop, she'll get her spoon and chop the Weetabix up in her bowl. And on the back of it there is a chalkboard, and she's been making marks with chalk on there. She also has her own little toddler table and chair, so I sold the high chair. I was going to keep it for baby number 2, but it's like a £15 high chair from IKEA, so I can just get a new one. So I sold the high chair for like a tenner because there was some extra bits on it, like leg wraps, a footrest. And at nursery, she sits in a normal chair as well, so I wanted to keep that the same. The only thing is, it was a £54 table and chair from Amazon. It came with these black scuff marks that I can't get off. And also one of the edges on the chair didn't have the 2 holes for the screws. So James had to get a screwdriver and a screw and make the holes himself. And it was £54. So I did leave a review to be like, it is not worth the money. Didn't get a response from that though, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think there is a picture on my Instagram, but I don't recommend it. I can't remember what I've said to you before, but I'll just have to say it again just in case I haven't said it before. But Freya will get her own dummy from the drawer when it is time for sleep. I'll say, Freya, do you want to go to bed? Can you get your dummy from the drawer, please? And she'll go down the hallway into the bedroom. You can hear her opening the drawer. She gets the dummy out. And if you say push, she then shuts the drawer. She will also get her own cutlery at meal time. So I'll say, can you get your bowl, please? And she'll go and get her bowl. And she gets her spoon, her cup and her bib when you ask for them individually as well. The thing with Freya is she's not talking that much, but she understands so much. She no longer enjoys the bath. So for the first year of her life, she absolutely loved the bath. And I've always made a point of getting water on her face. I think her first ever bath as a newborn, I was putting water on her face. She has never ever cared about it. I used to ask her like, Freya, do you want a bath? She'd go down the hallway straight to the bath. Now if I ask her, Freya, do you want a bath? She will run away. She does not want the bath. She cries. She will get water on her face. She will cry, it goes in her mouth, and then she goes, and like she can't breathe, and then you can see the panic in her face. She's literally drowning on bath water, like, she's drowning. And I'm like, I don't understand how you can go a year enjoying the bath, not caring about water in your face, and now you drown every time. It is so frustrating. I then bought a couple of things from Amazon where you put them around the head to stop the water going on her face. Then she cried because she didn't want it on her head. And I was like, I can't, I can't. Me and James went to the cinema without Freya. His sister babysat her. That was probably the first time in forever that we've even done something just the 2 of us, but we did go to the cinema. Freya had a cough for like 11 weeks in a row, and we had gone to the doctors a few times in that time to discuss it. They gave her amoxicillin, and that didn't clear it. It was in case there was like a possible chest infection. So obviously she didn't have a chest infection because that didn't do anything. And then they kept saying, like, they kept listening to her, and they were like, her chest is all clear. They don't think it's asthma. What they were going to refer her to the hospital for a chest x-ray, but in the end they kind of decided that they weren't actually concerned about it. They actually think that the pollen or the weather, something is making her very like mucousy, and then at night it's sort of draining back, and then in the morning her body's got to clear it, which is why her cough is so much worse in the morning, because her body's trying to like clear it to protect itself. And then during the day you barely ever hear her cough. We went to Rectory Farm in Oxford, we did strawberry picking. We went to Fairy Tale Farm, which is in Chipping Norton in Oxfordshire. It's about 40 minutes away from us. Really, really good. Like, she absolutely loved it. However, I wouldn't go back there again. Not because there's anything wrong with it. I just think it's one of those things that you only really do once. That's just my opinion. But it was good. We've gone to Soft Play, Clara's Corner in High Wycombe. We've been like 4 times now. It is my favourite soft play. And then she also went to Windsor at the weekend with me and my mum and my mum's wife, so her nannies, and it was her first time at Windsor. She fed the ducks, but the thing is, Freya is used to being able to feed goats, because whenever we've gone somewhere with goats, you can just like feed them by hand. With the swans, she kept wanting to feed them like this and just trying to like give, and I'm like, no, 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 no. And I was obviously having to say, no, you need to throw them, you need to throw them. And then she noticed a swan in the water, but it was like grabbing the food from the wall, from the ground. And she leant down as if she was going to put it on the ground. And I thought, okay, that's fine. Put it on the ground, whatever. At the last second, she changed her mind and decided, actually, no, I want to feed the swan. And it was so quick that I didn't have time to react. And the swan was like, oh. And then she cried for like a second. and then was fine. Not even a mark on her finger, but I was like, oh my goodness. And then there was a little fun fair bit. So she went on the teacups with my mum, and then she went on this hot air balloon ride with me. So it literally goes up, down, and the seat also slowly spins at the same time. She loved it. Absolutely loved it. I, on the other hand, was not too keen. And this is like a proper kids ride, but I was like, oh, I don't know. But she was great. She was fine. And then she went to the little water feature part and wanted to go in the water. Then she had a Mr. Whippy, and I don't mess about with ice cream. I just give it to her and let her go crazy. She had a bib on, whatever. She had McDonald's for lunch. And then I popped into a couple of shops. One of them was called Nursery Green. Beautiful. I could have bought everything in that shop. So beautiful. They had a bit of everything, stationery, home. And then there was also a kids clothing shop called Newbie. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. £30 for a swimming costume. Are you having a bubble? I could buy the exact same one from Shein for like a £5. Like, absolutely not. And then there was this jacket, like an autumn brown fluffy, like a teddy jacket. So cute. £50. I was like, are you having a laugh? I am not paying £50. Absolutely not. Really nice stuff though, absolutely beautiful, but price was extortionate. So now that I have updated you on everything that we've got up to over the last month, let's move on to the actual topics of this video, shall we? Let's start with my job and taking a career break. So I am still at work, and as you all know, when I returned after maternity leave, I went back part-time instead of full-time. I wanted to do 4 days a week, but I couldn't get childcare on a Friday. My manager offered for me to do a weekend day, like a Saturday or a Sunday instead, but I chose to not go ahead with that because a Saturday and a Sunday, the only 2 days we get as a family. But then when I went back to work and realised how much I was going to struggle financially, to the point where I am in my overdraft every month. Right now, my overdraft is like £500 max. That's the cut-off thingy. But I am over £400 in my overdraft. So the next time I get paid, 400 and something pound of my wages is literally just bringing my overdraft back to zero. Every single month I'm in my overdraft. And it's even at a point where, like, I've got work colleagues that are like, I really feel for you, Chelsea, and that if I was in your position, I wouldn't even be at work. I did ask if I could increase to 4 days a week, taking up that offer of doing a 4th day on a Saturday or Sunday, but my manager rejected it, saying that he wanted to see me attending more consistently on my current days during the week. I did reply and say that I did not feel that was fair. The majority of the days that I have had off since returning to work in April have been because Freya had a temperature at nursery and I had to pick her up early, or she had a temperature for like 3 days straight, so then she missed nursery for 3 days straight and I couldn't be at work. I am the only one that can do nursery drop off, nursery pick up. My family do not live local, they live in Slough, which is like a 40-minute drive away, but my dad works full time. My mum doesn't drive and she works usually night shifts as a carer, and my mum's wife is physically disabled, has like crutches in a wheelchair, so definitely can't drive. So the only family around are James's, but his parents both work full time and so does his sister. And then as for James, he's out the door at 6 o'clock in the morning for work, and nursery doesn't open till 7:30. At that point, he's already on a work site, and he works in different areas, sometimes Coventry, he's been at Winchester, he's currently working in Swindon, London, sometimes Oxford, but never in the area that the nursery is. And even if he did have to pick her up early, he doesn't have a car seat in his work van. He would have to take that home first to then get into the car and then come back. There have also been other changes since I returned after maternity leave, such as once every 3 months we have to go and have a meeting in another office, which once I've dropped Freya off at nursery, Google Maps says it's like anywhere between an hour and 10 to an hour and 40 minutes for me to then drive there. Now, if she had a temperature and had to be picked up, I am over an hour away. If something happened, she banged her head, they had to call an ambulance. I know that sounds extreme, but if that happened, I would be over an hour away. Now, before I went on maternity leave, we never had to go to this office once every 3 months. So why are we now doing it? I just feel like the changes are not working with my childcare responsibilities. I also have a medical condition, which is IBS, which I've discussed So many times I've had occupational health calls. They said that although IBS is not a disability, when it comes to the workplace and the Equality Act, it can be put down as a disability in the workplace. And I did have a lot of flexibility before. There were things put in place, whereas now I feel like things are not being put into place. I don't feel like I am being supported. I feel like I'm being treated as if I'm being difficult when I'm not being difficult. I have childcare responsibilities now and I have a medical condition. If I need the toilet, I have like seconds to get to the toilet. So if I'm in my car and I'm driving over an hour to this other office and I need the toilet, I'm not going to get to that office. I've kind of been told that because we are given months of notice for these, that it is reasonable to expect me to attend. As if I can just go, right, IBS, I have got to travel somewhere in the next 2 months and I've been given 2 months notice. So make sure you don't have any problems on this day, please. That's not how it works. I've had over 20 jobs. This is the best job I've ever had. I absolutely love it. We get a pay rise every year. It's 6 months full pay maternity leave, work from home options. There are so many benefits, like good things to this job, but since I've returned, I just don't feel like I'm enjoying it as much. I am considering taking a career break because I am not enjoying work at the moment, and with having a toddler who is very dependent on me, I just feel very overwhelmed. I think I need to work on myself as well because I've been having some issues with my temper, and I think being so busy, being a working mum, that's kind of fueling it. Whereas if I didn't have to think about work, maybe I would have more time on my hands. I can then be calmer. There's a lot of reasons why I want to take the career break. It's not just because I'm unhappy with work at the moment. There are other reasons as well. I have read my career break policy. I can ask for 5 years. However, I know somebody that asked for 3 years and 3 years was rejected. I know 2 people that asked for 1 year and it got approved. They both went travelling. I was going to ask for 2 years, but I feel like it won't be approved. So I am probably just going to ask for 1 year. A career break does mean unpaid, but I will still be employed and I will still have a job to go back to. However, it might be a different job role. In terms of how I will pay my bills, I don't want to go into it, but there is going to be a way for me to be able to pay my bills. So all of that will be covered. The only thing I won't have is spending money, but I don't have any spending money now anyway. What I can do is get another job in the evening, because in the career break policy, it does state that I can have another job, but I have to get that approved because it has to go down as secondary employment. The next thing I wanted to talk about is changing Freya's nursery. This is going to be such a hard decision because she loves her nursery and I love the staff in her room. When I drop her off in the morning and they open the door, she has a massive smile. And then when I pick her up after work, she smiles when she sees me, and sometimes she even starts walking over and then goes, oh, a toy, and just gets distracted. She loves nursery, and at the beginning she didn't even eat their lunches, which was like hot meals. Freya's not a hot meal kind of girly. She's a cold, picky food kind of girly. Sandwich, a pack of skips, yogurt, fruit. But if you give her a hot meal, she's like, absolutely not. But now she will eat their lunches. She's actually got used to their food. We are having trouble with it at home. She will not eat a hot meal at dinner. She actually has been having Weet-Bix for dinner for the last few weeks. The only thing is the nursery is overpriced. After the government 30-hour funding, we still have to pay £649 a month. Now, there is a nursery near us that is much cheaper. However, it has 100 families on the waiting list. I went to their open day, that's how I know. And then I found another nursery near us, which is literally like 10-15 minutes away. And their cost would be £412 a month. I'm looking at saving like £250 a month, and that is a massive amount of money. If it was only like £100, I'd probably not be bothered, but £250, I could put that money towards her. I am going to view the nursery in August because I might as well go and view it, see what it looks like, get a feel for it, see what I think about the staff. They are going to hold her space for free until the visit, and then if I want to go ahead with putting her in that nursery, I'll pay £150 reservation fee to keep her space. They can't take her till February, so she'll be 21 months old at that point. Where she is now, she's in the baby room, and then in October she moves up to the next room, so she would then be in there for 4 months in a new room with new staff, new children. And then after 4 months, I'll be putting her in a whole new nursery. New nursery, new routine, new staff, new children. But I do feel like children at Freya's age are very, very resilient. And she's still so young that she doesn't even know what nursery is. I have looked at their Ofsted. That was good. I spoke to somebody that I used to work with in a nursery who I know used to work there, and she said with the old manager she would have said no, but with the new manager apparently she's very much on it. She still is friends with some of the staff that work there. She would recommend it. I just want to see for myself though. But she loves her nursery so much, and I love the staff. I'm really, really stuck with that decision. The next thing I want to talk about is baby number 2. We've gone back and forth on this. We initially said we wanted a 2-year age gap. I've got a 7-year age gap with my brother, and I don't even have a relationship with him. James and his sister have a 5-year age gap. We didn't want that for Freya and her sibling. We wanted a 2-year age gap. So we would need to be pregnant this year to then have the baby next year after Freya turns 2. But then we felt like it was too soon for us. Financially, we're struggling every month. And then I am struggling in terms of like my temper. And I don't know if that would be worse if I also have a baby to look after as well as a toddler. So then we were like, maybe we should just be one and done, completely one and done. So then we were like, maybe we should just wait until she's at school. But now we're just like, we should just get this done. James then said, let's move out into a 2-bedroom. And then as soon as we've got a 2-bedroom, we'll go ahead with baby number 2. But then I spoke to his mum the other day, and she was like, you've been bidding on 2-bedroom properties for the last 9 months. By the time the baby's even here, you're looking at like a year and a half. You should ideally have a 2-bedroom by then. And even if you don't, your bedroom is big enough that you can still put the baby's cot in there. She was like, just put that idea to James. I put it to James. He was like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. So I'm still trying to convince him. As you know, Freya was conceived by IVF. We have frozen embryos in storage, so we would need to pay for a frozen embryo transfer. I've already called the fertility clinic to figure out what the process would be. Because I had a C-section, even though it's been more than a year, I would need to have a scan to make sure that I've physically healed. That's £190. We would then need to have a returning patient initial consultation to discuss cost, medication, how many embryos will be transferred. That is going to be £150. The medication is anywhere between £350 to £700. And then the actual cost of defrosting the embryo and putting that in to me is like 2,000 and something pounds. So in total, it was going to be £190 for the scan, £150 for a consultation, and then anywhere between £3,000, £3,500 for the actual medication plus embryo transfer. I did see that they work with something called Access Fertility, where you can borrow the money, no interest whatsoever. You do have to pay it over a year though, but if we split it between us, we'd be looking at about £145 each a month, but for a year. I was in debt for like 6 years and I got out of debt last year. Do I want to be in debt again? Probably not, but I feel like it is for a good reason, and as it's only a year and it's split between us, I think we could manage it. Anyway, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!